Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans are coming back home to host the New England Patriots. Both teams sitting at 1-3. Both teams are kind of sitting at a different 1-3, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. First, I want to go ahead and just get this out the way. Let's get the recap going, and it's going to be a quick one. One word to describe it: embarrassing. you know, real hot take right there. But I mean, excuse me, energy drink just get me. Anyway, energy drink got me again. All right. Anyway, listen. Just an embarrassing performance by this team overall. There's no other way to explain it. There's no way to like break down any coverage or formations and blah 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 strategy. They just pretty much sucked that whole game. And the thing about it is, there was two teams. The game started out with bad weather or whatever, and so there were two teams that played in that weather. One team scored 40 points, the other team scored zero. So it's kind of crazy that, in a game where, weather affected both squads early on, that only one of the squads actually put on a performance that made it look like they actually showed up to the game. So, a very disappointing loss, humiliating loss for the Texans. And, we'll just leave it at that. So, on to some of the other news throughout the week. Anthony Miller, he was released a couple of days ago, or released this week sometime. So, they traded for him like earlier in the offseason or whatever from Chicago, and now they gave him the boot. So we'll see what they do as far as like filling that spot up and everything. Um, One thing I do want to get to before I get into the game recap is kind of the I want to touch a little bit on the schedule, the 2 game schedule that's coming up. So Texans, they opened the season up with a win against Jacksonville. Kudos, good for them. But after that, they just got their teeth kicked in. So the game against the Browns, that was, uh, it was something where a lot of people, feel like we would have won that game had Tyrod Taylor, been healthy and stayed in and all that stuff. And that's a fair prediction to make. I feel that as well. But I think what I'm really trying to say is, after that Jacksonville game, we just caught a bunch of bad breaks. 3 game losing streak, obviously. Taylor goes down with an injury. We have to host the Carolina Panthers on a short week. And we could have, we really had a chance to like just beat them, but it's dealing with a rookie quarterback's first start, getting him accustomed to the game and all this stuff, and then following that up with this game against Buffalo, and it's like it's his first, it's the rookie QB's first game on the road in a real tough environment. Bills Mafia, they get litty sometimes, so. Um, I think with that being said, we did catch some tough breaks, but I feel like these next 2 games, they should really, we should really be up for them. And the reason I say that is just based off the record alone. To be honest with you, I mean, both of these teams are 1-3. Now the Patriots, I'm not too shocked that they're 1-3, dealing with given the fact that they're dealing with their own new quarterback as well. Obviously, rookie quarterback Mac Jones. He's still kind of learning the system and all this other stuff, and they're trying to get some wins off the ground for him. And he was the one that replaced Cam Newton and all that. And so they're coming off a game where they almost beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not really the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they almost beat Tom Brady, where Brady spent his first 10 seasons in. I'm trying to see who did the Patriots beat this year. Um, if any guess, I'm gonna say it's the Dolphins. I cannot find it right away. Uh, but yeah, they got one win under their belt, and kind of for them, that's kind of like you know, that's kind of up for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, did he have a what the fuck? Now I gotta go to Patriots schedule. I should have did this research before. But anyway, while I'm pulling that up, um, damn, who did they beat? Don't even have any wins listed on here. They lost to the Dolphins. Okay, no, the Giants. Oh, the Jets, of course. Of course, they beat the Jets. Uh, so they got to. While we on here, let's look for the Colts too. But yeah, they got to win over the Jets. You know what I'm saying? And who couldn't get a win over the Jets this year? But um, they're heading in. They're on. That with that, that's kind of like a big step for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see that their quarterback can actually. Okay, so looking at the Colts schedule, they beat the Dolphins. So, hey, Jets and Dolphins. I don't know. It's. I figured the Dolphins would be a little bit better, but that's a whole other point. Anyway. So, basically, Patriots, they got their one win, for their rookie quarterback over the Jets. Colts got their one win over the Dolphins or whatever. Now, the thing about the Colts, um, they have, they have Carson Wentz, and I figured they would be a lot better than what they were this season, but Carson Wentz, he had that injury, I think he had that foot injury, I think, during the preseason, so he might just be trying to get his rhythm going and everything, and they got a pretty good, solid team or whatever, and it's just needing a stable quarterback. Last year, um, actually for a couple years now, since Andrew Luck retired, they really haven't had that. When the year Luck retired, they had Jacoby Brissett, and then the year last year, they had Philip Rivers come in and take over, and Rivers led them to the playoffs or whatever. But after that, he just retired. Didn't really take him past the first round, so he was like, I'm out. So now it's this year they traded for Carson Wentz and they got him and they dealt with his foot injury and everything. So, it's kind of a little bit for them, um, but at the same time they're still 1-3. So, I mean, the point I was making is right now this part of the at this part of the schedule it looks it's a little down for the Texans and I think this is something that the Texans need, just to be like, just kind of check themselves and make sure that they're engaged within this season because they're facing teams that are the same record as them. They're facing 1-3 teams who are going through it just like they are, and maybe with in the Patriots case, um, they're not so much going through it as they are um, just trying to really find some. Just really trying to find out what they have in this young quarterback. I think with the Texans, they're trying to do that as well. With Davis Mills, obviously, he's their number one pick, but I feel at the same time, the team just isn't playing as hard as it should. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, the Buffalo game, I'll admit, Buffalo was probably like, overmatch for the Texans. Like it was a bad matchup or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like you want to see some effort. Buffalo is one of those teams on the schedule that's like it's just you can look at it and you be like, okay, that's the game they're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? But even with all that, you still got to put some effort. You still got to take the field goal instead of going for it on 4th and 1 early in the game. You still got to, score a touchdown. You still got to score some points in this game. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we got a rookie quarterback, but some of the guys, they got to help out. They got to help them out a little bit. They got to block a little better. You know what I'm saying? Got to, make make the holes bigger for the running backs to go through and all this other stuff. Running backs got to probably run harder. You know what I'm saying? Defense probably got to play better. So it's a lot of things. It like these 1-3 games. I say that this should help this team out because they're 1-3 just like us. But at the same time, if you don't put no effort behind this, then having the same record as another team that as the team you're playing against is going to mean jack squat at all. Like you're just going out there and going through the motions and you just getting your butts kicked just off principle. So, yeah, that's all I really wanted to touch on with the Patriots and the Colts. It's just both of these teams 1-3, just like us. And if you look at it closely, yeah, each situation is very different. So for the Patriots, I would say 1-3 is probably a success for them, considering what they're doing with their quarterback. For the Colts, might not be so much of a success, but they might be kind of turning things around and might be able to trying to hit their stride pretty soon. And the Texans is just a big ass mess right now. So, and that is what it is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens Sunday. Maybe they do. Just turn things around after getting beat like that. Because that was, oh my god, that was Jesus. That was a yo. That was a whooping, man. But anyway, it is what it is. So going right into this game recap. So Texans will be hosting the New England Patriots. And like I said earlier, New England's coming off. They're coming off a loss, but it's kind of a moral victory loss for them. They faced Tom Brady, their former quarterback, and his team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They actually played them at home, where Tom Brady spent his 20-year career. And even though they lost the game, Mac Jones, he looked pretty great as a rookie QB going up against that particular defense. And it wasn't the shootout that everybody, but I don't know who thought that would be a shootout, but it wasn't a shootout, but it was definitely a close game. And Mac Jones, he played. I thought he played pretty great in that game. Um, so it was just one of those things that was like encouraging for the coaching staff to kind of see, and maybe even encouraging for his teammates. I'm pretty sure he got a lot of respect from them for the way he played in a moment like that. So, but not to brag on him too much because this is not a Patriots podcast or video blog or whatever. It's Texans video blog. So, with that being said, it's three things Texans need to do. I'm back to three. Last week I gave you two, but no, it's three things. So, first thing, Texans need to win the battle of the rookie quarterbacks. Simple as that. So, yeah, Mac Jones, he's the higher picked quarterback, picked in the first round. Um, our quarterback, Davis Mills, picked in the third round. So, and obviously, Davis Mills been, having a rough, he's been having a rough time. Still hasn't got his first win yet. Mac Jones, playing 4 games, has snatched his first win. So obviously, on paper, Mac Jones is the better quarterback. So what the Texans need to do is win that battle and make Mac Jones not look like the best rookie quarterback prospect. One of the things that they can do is disrupt his rhythm early on. Despite him, playing great against Tom Brady, he's still a rookie quarterback, and so you want to kind of bring him back down to earth. So Lovey Smith, this is where I said this before the season, or probably in the first game or so. I'm like, actually, I wrote about this when I was talking about the Texan schedule way back when. That Lovey Smith's going to have his share of rookie quarterbacks, and I didn't peg the Patriots to. I don't think I pegged them to have Mac Jones ready by then, but this is a bonus for Lovey Smith. What I'm saying? You are a legendary defensive coordinator, both and definitely in the NFL. So go out here and just kind of do your job. You know what I'm saying? So just shake him up. Just put the let him have a bad game today. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what Davis Mills is going to do, but let's make it to where whatever Davis Mills does is the greatest thing since not throwing a pick, not throwing a pick or whatever. So, but yeah, definitely shake up Mac Jones pretty early. Just go after him. Definitely put pressure on him and everything. As much pressure as you can. Just confuse him, give him different looks, all the other stuff. Do the things that Bill Belichick is going to do to our rookie quarterback in a sense, basically. So, second thing Texans need to do is establish the run. So, Patriots, they're fourth ranked against the pass. So I really wouldn't come out and just start throwing the ball around against them. let's get some running game going first. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we can, how many rushing yards we can rack up before we actually start focusing on airing it out. And even with airing it out, I don't think we should. I definitely don't think we should go, deep or anything. Just kind of get some short routes, some little 5, 10 yard type of routes, just so what I'm saying Davis Mills can get his rhythm up, and then try and attack deep once that happens. But definitely before we do all that, we should establish a run game. We have 3 running backs in there that's former 1,000 yard rushers. So some of them, one of them has to make a play. You know what I'm saying? We're at home. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this going. Establish the run to wear down their defense for sure. Once we feel like we wore them down enough, then we can go out and just start attacking them downfield. Third and final thing Texans got to do: forget everything about last Sunday. I've I've heard this plenty of times. Different sports. When a team has like a horrible game, such as what the Texans had, a lot of players and coaches say like, best thing to do is just forget about what happened in the previous game, and that kind of makes sense. Whatever you study for to like get hyped up for that game, it obviously didn't work. So you need to forget what you studied, and just try to focus on how you can do better or up your play in this upcoming game. Um, like I said, everything went wrong in that Bills game. So just forget about it. If anything, you got to go back to it. Just look at what you did in that game and don't do it anymore. Look at it on film, then forget about it. That's pretty much it. So yeah, basically those 3 things. Texans win the battle of the rookie quarterbacks. Texans have to establish the run, and they have to forget all of last Sunday's actions. Texans do those 3 things, they might be able to pull a win out and get the second win and get the fans engaged back in the season and not lose their mind. I just found out today. I found out that this Sunday is World Mental Health Day. So the irony that we're finna go watch this team that's been driving us crazy all year go try and get the second win of this already crazy season. So hopefully they'll pull it off and we'll all enjoy like a mental break because all the Texans fans need it. So that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.